May 7th, 2021, 4:36 p.m. Hi, I'm writing to you with a huge amount of shyness and vulnerability. I came across your work through Instagram and really dived into it with pleasure and nostalgia. I've read you've studied at Beaux-Arts à Paris. Me too. I wish I knew it before so I could have met you. Back to the reason I'm writing this clumsy, awkward message. Since I follow your account, I know you're now a mother and still being an artist, and I just wonder, how do you cope? I recently gave birth to a marvelous and tender new human being, and I feel so fulfilled, but at the same time I'm experiencing great solitude and isolation. As if the world, especially art world, wasn't really made for mothers and babies. How do you manage time, creativity, social interaction? Were you able to create while pregnant or after birth? Were you harassed by doubts about your art, your child, your career? Sorry if this message comes to you as an intrusion into very private life. I just wonder in my room on Instagram while my baby sleeps. And your works make me feel that I could reach you for dialogue. Don't feel obliged to respond to this. I wish you all the best. May 7th, 2021, 5:52 p.m. Suni, I've loved your work for a long time. I saw it in the graduation expo, I think, a long time ago, and I went on your website afterwards and also dove into your work. How sad that we didn't know each other at Beaux-Arts. What a wonderful and heartfelt message. Thank you for sending it, and congratulations on your little one. I have felt all of the things you describe exactly as you described them. For me, I was very scared to become a mother in the art world. A curator who told me when I was 26, don't have kids or it's over. But I don't think that's true. What is over? It's over when we can no longer make anything. And I think having a child doesn't stop men or women from making things. It might make it more complicated or harder to find time, but it doesn't stop the mind or the heart from coming up with things. So more specifically about being a mother, an artist, and coping, one thing I've found helpful is that everything is now on Zoom. I've listened to a few artist talks with my baby on my lap, and I've done some studio visits this way too. The rest for me has sort of been like before, applying for grants, residencies. At this point, I think it's a little easier because we've done the whole portfolio proposal, rejection thing so many times. So I just try to hammer it out in a few evenings when she's asleep. That's the other thing. Once your baby is about 4 or 5 months old, she will start going to sleep at 7 p.m. and you will get your evenings back. It will be glorious. Oh, so nice to see such a fast and open heart response. Thanks for taking the time. I feel like I just needed to share and came to you instinctively. It gives hope to know that I'm not alone. Of course, it's something you know, but it tends to get erased by everyday emotions. I'm enjoying so much the observation of Emi and the unfolding of his presence into life that I fear I'll never be able to focus on anything else anymore. It's amazing and scary. It comforts me to know that when he'll go to sleep, more of the time to create will come back. I'm spending time with Zoom and internet too, which is an open window, of course, but so cold, I must say. If you allow me, I have another question. Do you have a studio? Do you plan to get one, or you just work from home? I'm renting one, but I never get the chance to go, and I'm planning to start homework. My only fear is to never get in touch with the outside world if I do so. Haha, I don't know if you get what I mean. Thanks again for the experience exchange. Emi is such a great name. I love it. Congratulations again. I really understand what you write about, enjoying just observing every moment and breath of your baby, and just disappearing in it. I felt and feel the same, and sometimes I just completely disappear into that for days. It is so beautiful and rare to feel that. An older woman told me, don't feel guilt. If you feel happy, enjoy every moment. The time for work will come later. And it will, trust me. The intense observation and feeling is very generative. I understand the fear of never being in touch with outside world again, but that will go away At least that's what I hear. Marianne and I are still pretty housebound, but we go for walks, and seeing my family helps. I don't have a studio or any plans to get one. I'm afraid I'm quite poor. Just yesterday I applied for income assistance, haha. But I think that it's possible to get by if one is very frugal. And I think that also accepting that my home is my creative space now has made me look at it different. I'm thinking of making one wall of it as a sort of installation space and starting to work on some objects for that. And I've always been drawn to the work of Chantal Ackerman, who made so much of her work from her room. What about you? How was your creative process during pregnancy? Yes, everyone keeps telling me to enjoy and don't feel guilty, and I listen and enjoy and keep feeling a bit guilty. But I guess you can only say, don't worry from the future, don't you? Creative process during pregnancy? Actually, there was none. I was in a wandering state with no real apartment, moving around with my companion and our suitcases, so I just wrote notes on my phone and on paper, making plans for future installations and amazing works that will probably never be. We finally moved into an apartment in Marseille while I was 7 months pregnant. New home, new me, new city, all with COVID is quite unsettling. I have the chance not to have to pay the rent, but for the rest I'm also trying to get RSA, etc., so not going to a studio I'm paying for is still kind of stressful. Homework is becoming the only suitable way to create. Dematerialization, intimacy, smallness is finally getting the value it deserves. But it requires a big change. I've always done big installations, so I'm completely rethinking my work, rereading notes, drawing, sewing, folding, finding new narrative paths, less megalomaniac, more transportable. Yes, going small and working with what is immediately there. Still into the metamorphosis of it. Yes, I feel the same. I saw the notes you're making and the photos that go along. That's exactly it for me too. I was telling a friend that now my material or my medium is just what I find in my phone or in my head. Lines of poetry bumbling about. I also switched cities. My ex and I lived in Paris. He had an affair and I left him. And then I found out I was pregnant. So he's in Paris and I'm in Vancouver. And I started here from scratch too. No contacts, few friends, no apartment for the first 5 months of my pregnancy. It was a very hard time. I cried all the time, and I had a hard time metabolizing it into work too. But slowly things came back. I grew new hands and new eyes, I guess, and more of a protective shell. Wow, it must have been such a journey of the hard body-mind. I can only imagine how hard it would have been without Ugo. You must have sunken so deep into yourself to find the strength to keep it up. Congratulations, woman. It's nice talking to you, and actually the first time I dare writing to a person I don't physically know. I'll share with you a little frame of my table just for it to appear less virtual. May 7th, 2021, 10 p.m. Oh, I love it. Paper cranes, so beautiful. Simple materials, so immediate, but so much possibility there with just paper. And speaking of paper, I like the way you write and express yourself. Here's my table right now. I'm glad you started the conversation. I want to say so much more. May 11th, 2021, 8:51 a.m. Sorry for the belated answer. I loved seeing a glimpse of your desk and talking to you is easy and fluid. Life kept me away from Instagram and mails and things to do pile up without mercy in my brain, even the pleasant ones. How are you? I wanted to wish you a great Mother's Day. It was so cute to hear people wishing it to me for the first time. So kitsch and lovely feeling. May 21st, 2021, 5:54 a.m. How's this week going for you? I'm okay. I'm kind of tired. I wanted to do so many things today and instead just ended up doing the basics of keeping us fed and clean, and somehow that was tiring enough. What's baby up to lately? Sleeping well? That was meant to be a question mark. May 26th, 2021, 10:40 p.m. Hi, Anna. It was a difficult week, this one. I felt so many contradictory emotions and injunctions, finding back the person I used to be, being independent, creative, sexy, but at the same time accepting the new me, maternal, protective, tired. Sex and personal relationship issues are such a big source of discussion and misunderstanding in the couple right now. Where's my desire? So many have to in my mind and so little energy to give them. On the other side, I feel like I have the most wonderful, peaceful, and smiling little being on my side and could just dive into him and shut off the rest of the world. I still try to figure out a schedule in order to read, write, do sport, lose weight, make applications, have sex, cook food, wash my hair, sew stuff, draw, look for a job. I feel like I fail at everything beside being mothering. I feel like I fail at everything beside mothering. Full moon is coming, I guess. Désolé pour l'avalanche, but I have to be honest, don't I? And how are you? What little thing happened lately that made you happy? On my side, Emi explored my face with his hands today. It was glorious, as you once said. May 26, 2021, 11:54 p.m. I feel like I fail at everything beside mothering. This phrase stuck with me. It really resonates for me. Recently, I feel the same, and I just don't have the energy to share myself or to make work or think, really. And some days it's just about surviving, getting through the day, but other days I'm really calm and present in the mothering, and it feels like more than enough. Other days I think it's tedious, especially when I'm feeding her and it takes an hour, and then I feel immediately guilty. But then I also try to reason with myself that it's a big job to keep us alive and clean and fed, and sometimes it's tedious, and if I think that I should be grateful or happy all the time, it's because of the social conditioning put on the mother to be perfectly perfect, always. In reality, it is a very layered experience, full of constant failures and overwhelming presence and joy. Contradictory is the right word. You used it, and I thought that's exactly it. And how do we explain ourselves to others when what we feel is contradictory? When I open my mouth, I feel like an avalanche comes out too. People love a cohesive story, and this experience is not cohesive. It's so complex, and it's so hard to connect with others when you can't communicate the 12 billion things and emotions that happen before lunch. My sex drive didn't come back until Marianne was 5 months old. Then suddenly I felt so lonely and so horny. This experience is not cohesive. How true. How to explain when you would need 2 hours in order to give a glimpse of the feelings that cross your heart, but only have 2 minutes between poo and milk. How to shrink such existential questions between the kitchen and the corridor, trying not to make noise. I'm kind of delaying the confrontation, I guess. Waiting for more empty times. How to free ourselves from the many projections of guilt related to the female being. How to give up on resolving the fact of not being enough. We are so much enough, but still unconscious landscapes are infinite. And that's the thing, there's this long to-do list and there's so many thoughts and desire to write them down, but there's this profound peace that is there too, like you said. Emi touched your face, and all the tasks become so insignificant they might as well be happening on Pluto. Even though there's this sadness in me that I may forget all my thoughts by the time there is time to write them down. And I do forget. And I do forget, kind of like a dumb animal. A manifesto, but with a brain sometimes. I think it's really profoundly female to exist between these two brain hemispheres. Maybe it's offensive to say anything is female these days. But I think I feel this sharp switch between left and right brain all the time as mother. I guess we could say people with a huge hole inside them, dark and soft and elastic and full of wonders. I love that, yes. If you have time, I've been reading Eliab's journals online. They're so complex. She's an artist and mother. In the 70s, she had a child and wrote a lot about it and her sexual experiences and her failures at mothering too. I read them at night these days and feel not alone. There's such a difference between being full and containing a void. I think maybe it is the only real difference we could speak about, containing the other or just being the contained one. I definitely will look at them when I'll get time. By the way, I can wait for the 5 months to see if my libido isn't definitely dead. How old is Yemi now? I think the 3-4 months mark was the hardest for me. It literally felt like I could not physically go on. He's almost 3. Hang in there. I needed to hear from other mothers that it gets better. Because as wonderful as it is, that's also around the time that the sleep deprivation becomes very real. I've listened to Kate Tempest Hold Your Own today for the NEM time, and it made me feel safe. It's like a little prayer from time to time. We'll listen to it now. I don't know that song. It's more of a spoken poem and unfolds all these contradictions and just says, it's okay, you're okay. About sleep deprivation, I'll try to get some. Midnight 19 on this side and only 2 hours left until he wants to feed. That's beautiful. I often have to say, I'm okay to myself and also let it go. I say it to myself all the time. And this line from a Margaret Atwood poem, I move up, it's called awake. Yes, get some sleep. It was nice to chat. Feels good talking. Again, good night. Good night. May 30th, 2021, midnight 36. This is everything. June 3rd, 2021, 8:32 a.m. Fuck, I'm sorry. June 29th, 2021, 9:07 p.m. Suni, how are you doing? Had a little thought of you this morning and wondered how you were. August 7, 2021, 6:28 a.m. Consider fruit. August 7, 4:21 p.m. I really like the bed frame, tells it all. Just bought my first one. August 8, 2021, 2:19 a.m. I still don't have one. I sleep on my couch. September 20th, 2021, 6:14 p.m. Suni, how are you? Are you managing to make work? How's life looking like? For me, I'm fully absorbed in the routine of day-to-day life with M. Time moves so fast it feels like I close and open my eyes not in blinks but in 24-hour increments. I find no time to work at all, or maybe no desire, and I question whether it's my old pattern of procrastination or something new entirely, maybe a new life in which I don't have time for art. I think and I hope it's not that. Anyway, people say it gets easier once they're off to school, right? Oh God, nice to hear from you. Since a week, I'm trying to survive teething separation, anxiety, and flu altogether. No, teething. Since a week, I'm trying to survive teething, separation, anxiety, and flu altogether. You said art? Desire? I forgot what a studio looks like right now. I try to write very short sentences. I dive into my memories to come up with a piece for a show, but nothing comes besides mother-related stuff. I was even thinking about going to the show and staying there with Emi as a kind of boring performance. Then I thought it would be torture for him. Besides all this repetition of very trivial activities, I am marveled as always and tired as never before. My body fat is really escaping from my control, and I wonder if I'll ever look like before some days, body and mind. This is what the kitchen looks like today. September 21st, 2021, midnight 11. Thank you for taking the time to write all that, especially in the midst of coming home from grocery shopping, teething, and a flu, and separation anxiety. That's a lot. I'm so sorry. Sigh. I like the short sentences you write in post. Somehow, because they're short, they get straight to the point and express exactly what I'm thinking and feeling. Express. Like expressing milk. I like the idea of boring performance with a child in gallery. It's just what's true. We are too tired to make art. It's interesting to make a performance out of that inability to perform our jobs. But I also get that it would be torture for the little one and we can't use them as props. I wonder if there would be a way to make them comfortable. Transform the space, maybe? Body fat. I'm so sorry, and I can relate to that feeling of it escaping your control. It's an awful feeling. And of course, when we're extra tired, we're extra hungry and less capable of burning fat. I'm hungry all the fucking time. You know what it is. Yes, I maybe will end up performing somehow. Need the idea to do its path before setting it up. Performance out of the inability to perform our jobs. Thanks for saying it so clearly. I go to sleep now, thinking of you two on the other side of the oceans, but swimming in the same saline solutions. Dimanche, 5:20 p.m. Anna, I was thinking something for the upcoming show. Would you be bothered if I use our private conversation as a material for the sound on a video? There will be a tent with scattered print of my body in 3D, and inside the tent there will be a video on an iPad with a sound. This means I will have someone to read it and record it. It could be anonymous, or, if you like, I could openly credit your name as a collaborator. It depends on how comfortable you would feel with sharing something that was not meant to be shared. Of course, it's still an idea, so I have no problem with not using the text at all. Let me know. In the meantime, I wish you some rest and happy moments of life celebration. Dimanche, 7:03 p.m. Suni, I'd be thrilled about it. I think it's a terrific idea, and I love it when art derived from real life. I'm comfortable with you sharing any of our conversations, and I'm okay with having my name. It's an honor, actually, to be in the same trenches with you.